Hey friends, so today we're going to do day 3 of what we learned from the crypto recruiters. This might be the last video, not sure. But just in case, if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, definitely go watch part 1 and part 2. I'm going to look through my notes and try to recall. And I think this is why I want it to be like the last video because I'm like, the more days that go by, the more I'm forgetting stuff. So, the banner. So you don't need a super like done up graphics type of banner on your LinkedIn profile. You want to, I personally think what would be ideal is you in the middle of doing something that's related to your work. So for me, I do a lot of facilitating, I do a lot of workshops. So for me, it will show a picture of me doing those workshops because that's what I do. If you're a developer, I'm trying to think, when I was working in consulting, sometimes people took pictures. Like if I was on a client site, I think the project manager was taking pictures, but that was so long ago. I don't even know if that happens nowadays. Um, Maybe if you're working a conference, take a picture of you at the conference. I don't know. I would brainstorm some ideas around what would work good for a cover photo, but what you want to avoid is the super professional. Like I went in Canva and I put like graphic designer or like program manager and I put like the list of tools and all that stuff. Or maybe, I don't know, but I think they also mentioned somebody, the person who was having their stuff shown, they specialize in Web3. And I remember they mentioned put something about Web3 in the banner. So maybe if you can't get a photo of you in the act of like what you normally do in your day to day, you might could just put a very plain banner and put Web3 front end, back end, whatever, whatever. So, but just don't do the super fancy like this, the loops and the glitter and all the extra stuff. Like avoid all the extra. Just put a very simplistic banner. Let's see. This one was, I'm skipping around. Hold on. Okay. Make it clear in the summary what jobs, and in my case, what projects. So, what jobs are you open to? What are you looking for? I think this one is a new one for me to hear because I usually hear um, do a summary of yourself, but it's like they're going to read about you and the rest of it. But I thought it was really interesting. And I did this for myself. I'm trying this now. Put in the summary what work you're looking for. And I think that's really, really good to do, not only for your resume, but also for yourself as you're searching through these jobs. Like, I understand when things are desperate, you got to go for whatever is available, but it will help you kind of clarify, like, what's the right fit for you. I'm very big on community advocacy. I'm very big on the people and bringing people into the conversation and bringing in that, like, the co creation value. I'm very big on that. And I'm very big on creating strategies and implementing systems that will work in the long term. So that's what I'm really big on. That's the type of work that I'm looking for. Something where I can be interactive with the people, but also building out things on the back end. I'm a Libra, so I need a balance of both. And for my people who are like, oh my God, the astrology, don't do it. I'm doing it. I'm sorry, I can't help it. So in your summary, make it clear what type of jobs you're actually looking for. Also, this one is new for me. Bold in the resume the most important aspects of the resume. I would give feedback from somebody else on what's important to them versus what's important to you. As a business owner, if I switch my brain over to a business owner, I'm going to think, do you have the skills and do you have the experiences and the things that I need you to have experience in to do the job? That's what I'm going to think about. But as a contractor, I'm going to be thinking, I helped people solve like this major problem that they had hovering over them for 6 years. Like that's going to be important to me. And what's important to me is the impact. What's important to businesses might be something different. It might be the skill set. So you want to think about that as you're bolding out the important aspects in your resume. So there's a hire, like looking for work banner that shows up on people's profiles. don't do the public one that's people facing. Do the one that's just for recruiters. That's kind of self-explanatory. A recruiter's going to limit the views by the filters. Learn with those. Oh, that was a note for me. I did that already. That was video one. Also, this was an interesting one, and I want to know your thoughts on this. Take off the dates of education when you went for your degrees and all that stuff. Or I'm assuming everybody's putting like college education. I was a college dropout, FYI, so I don't have to put any college on my resume. But for those of you who went to college, if you don't want to be discriminated against for your age, which I did not think about this stuff, you need to remove the dates of your education because you will be discriminated against, depending on the company. If they do discriminate against you because of your age, one, it's legal. Let's start with that. It's very illegal. And then two, do you actually want to work for that company? No. So if you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. This is one for my long-term peoples. On your resume, don't go past 10 years. I will add to this rule based off a number of jobs. So for example, for me, there was a period where I was strictly doing Geek Empowered, my business Geek Empowered, but I was working for like 6 different people. And there was times where I put all 6 different people on my resume. And then there was other times where I just put everything under Geek Empowered. It was easier to put everything under Geek Empowered so I don't have to repeat things. But then I also question, like, if I put all these different people, it looks like I jumped from job to job to job. So if you are a self-employed person and you're doing a bunch of projects under your self-employment, somewhere in your resume you need to put like contractor, self-employed contractor, or freelancer or something, or maybe have a different section that is just for freelance projects or contract work, and then you could put stuff under that contract work. But going back to the 10 years, if you had multiple jobs, try to find a way to either put it under projects or put it under, like, if you had a business, put it under your business, or if you're working for an agency, put it under the agency. But yeah, don't go past 10 years because it's just too much. Nobody's going to read that much. Recruiters do 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds, up to 3 minutes per resume. And I think 3 minutes is even exact, like super long and exact. I think it's like seconds that people are spending on the resume. Let's see. I'm at the 7-minute mark, so I got a little bit of time. Let's see. Oh, okay. So there was a cheat code that they shared with ChatGPT. First, don't just make ChatGPT do your whole resume and copy and paste. Don't do that. I have learned from seeing resumes myself that we can instantly tell that AI did it. AI spits out a pattern when it comes to how it talks or how it responds, and is very much so like this theme or this category, this action, this number, ensuring. It always uses ensuring. Its favorite word is ensuring, and that's my telltale sign that you use ChatGPT. Ensuring that company, blah, 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 blah. It's the same pattern every time. And you can spot that pattern after looking at so many resumes. So you want to kind of take the notes from ChatGPT, but then put it into your own words, which, funny enough, I had to do this too. Because there was a period of time where I was lazy and I was like, I don't want to think through this. Like, everything sounds like crap. I'm going to just let AI do it. But then I looked at it. I was like, oh, this is bad. So I have to redo it. But the cheat that you should be using is you should be looking at the roles that you are applying for, and you should ask ChatGPT, how can I make these responsibilities that are in my profile, that are in my existing resume, related to this role? And then take the first 3 points and take the first 3 points, which are transferable skills, and then you use that in your resume, you use that in your LinkedIn. So again, the cheat code is you find a role. So for me, it might be learning and development manager. Like that's the current role that I'm kind of seeking. I used to be tech ecosystem strategist, which I'll talk about in a second. But for me, it'll be learning and development specialist. So I will look at that type of role, and then I will look at the work that I did, and I will say, okay, how can I make these responsibilities that I did and these roles that I already worked for or worked in more related to a learning and development specialist? And ChatGPT will give you those things, and I would take those things and put it back into my LinkedIn and put it back into my resume. So before I go, I wanted to talk about the tech ecosystem strategist piece. If you are a contractor, business owner, that type of stuff, and you're branding yourself as a certain thing, if you are running your own business, this works. If you are getting your own clients and you're getting paid by those clients, this works for you. If you are trying to get hired by somebody else, by another organization, if you're trying to get a job, these special titles, these very like creative titles will not work because it's filtering you out. Nobody is searching for a tech ecosystem strategist. Nobody. I don't even think people will even begin to understand what that means. But people are looking for a learning and development strategist. So really look at your headline, the titles that you're calling yourself, and be more general with it. Like, think, if I'm a business and I'm searching for your type of role, what am I searching for? Like, are they going to type in tech ecosystem strategist? Are they going to type in learning and development or career development or workforce development? So you want to look at yourself and kind of see where you need to fit. So that is, I'm doing a part 4. I'm halfway through. But I think the second half, the next video that I do is going to be all about scams. If I didn't talk about this in my first video, which I don't think I did, we're going to talk about scams in the next video. But yeah, if you're on my YouTube, subscribe. If you're on my LinkedIn, let's connect and have a happy day.